big painting in the living room, I think, was done in 1975. I've always been a figurative painter. The paintings got very, very complicated, so they were hard to read. And I thought, if I cut these figures out of wood, they would be easier to read. That got me started on 3D stuff. I'm interested in dealing with opposites. A square is the opposite of a circle. A curved line is the opposite of a straight line.
And so I knew he had a focus, and the focus really was the relationship between the different shapes, or in some cases the forms. He feels as if the work has been almost distilled or boiled down to the very essence of what he was looking at and working with many decades ago. So unfortunately, Stuart has been diagnosed with a peripheral nervous system disorder, and Stuart remarkably has not let that stop his creativity.
The first thing I came down with was a chronic form of Guillain-Barré syndrome, and I think the Parkinson's has some of the same effects on me. I cannot draw a straight line without a ruler.
In going to Brant Roberts Gallery in the Short North in Columbus, we got to know Michelle Brant, and over time she knew that I was drawn to Stuart's work, probably because of the geometric patterning that was repeated in a lot of things that he did. And she said, you know, you really ought to meet this guy someday.
And so one cold February Saturday, I had called them up and said, why don't we go down to Cincinnati and meet Stuart?
I said, sure, that's fine. I figured if he drove 100 miles, he might buy something, you know.
Then he talked about, you know, where he was really taking this thing from a process perspective, and he wanted to do some things in metal or heavier materials, but, you know, his hands wouldn't let him do these things anymore. And as he talked, I'm thinking, well, you know, I have a machine that could potentially do some of this stuff for him. And that's how the conversation started. I said, yeah, I think I might be able to do some of this stuff you think can't be done anymore. We take drawings that Stuart produces. Essentially, he produces them what I would call an old drafting method on an old drafting table with compasses. We take those drawings and we scan them, and we produce an electronic file for those. And then we download those to what's called a water jet cutting machine. This machine uses high pressure water that is combined with an aggregate or an abrasive material, and it's used to, under very high pressure, to cut the substrate or the material that you're trying to cut. Right now, today, while you're here, we're actually cutting a couple of his sculptures, and it's 6-inch thick hot rolled steel, and we are cutting some pretty complex shapes. The first one that's back there takes 550 minutes, so almost 10 hours on the machine to cut.
Stuart will take each piece after they've been cut. They go back to his studio. He leaves them outside so that they'll oxidize a certain way. And then he does put on the front, I guess, if you will, there's a certain coating that goes here which will make this impervious to rust for up to 10 years. So even if one were to put this outdoors, this would continue to rust or oxidize. This surface will not. And again, there's so much going on here. It's the relationship between the different shapes and the negative space, and then also you have the contrast between the two different surfaces.
You know, at the beginning of this, I thought myself as, you know, a manufacturer that could, you know, effectuate some of these ideas that he had. But over time, quite honestly, Stuart and I became friends, and that's where everything changed.
When I first met him, he said, you know, I've been making stainless steel cabinets for 30 years. And it would be so nice to make something artistic. Thank God he's interested in it. He's keeping me alive, and my brain is still kind of functioning.
Really, the essence of what we do is kind of trying to connect the collector with the artist, and to watch that sort of happen in person while you're present was really special. He's never stopped creating. He didn't know Tom was coming along. He didn't know that these would ever be created, but he kept getting up every day and doing what he does. And so when Tom came into the picture, again, it was just another avenue for Stuart to create. And I think it's a really beautiful thing when someone is late in their career and perhaps thinks that maybe things are coming to the end artistically, and along comes this gentleman who makes everything possible again.
I'm not going to quit. I'm absolutely not going to quit.